when I ultimately moved to the US to run first the packages business and commuted from Toronto, and then moved to Seattle and was chief marketing officer, ran global marketing for Expedia out of Seattle. At that time, when I left Toronto, we were doing $400 million in sales, and I went to the US to run a marketing budget of $300 million. I don't know, obviously, what's happening with Expedia today. I don't have access to those numbers, and they don't report them for Canada, and I know exactly why, and they never will, and God bless them. But my guess is they're doing, across their multiple brands, they're probably doing about $2 to $2.5 billion in sales in Canada. Expedia is by far the largest e-commerce business in Canada, like by spectacular orders of magnitude over everybody else. Like you can't start to imagine how much bigger they are than anybody else in this country. And I will always be incredibly fond of the memories and what it was that we built there. There's just no two ways about it. It was a remarkable thing. It was a remarkable time. Yeah.
To just shift gears for 2 minutes and tell us about Mesh, and then we're going to have some Q&As.
Great.
And we're going to break for coffee. A couple minutes on Mesh.
Great, yeah. So fast forward to that. Then, so quick sort of plug on that. Went to the States. We went public. We got bought. There for a year. Punched out. Back to Canada. Now I do a bunch of things, including Tripharbour. We're selling cruises online. Everybody's hand goes up, they've all bought travel online. Nobody's hand goes up, they bought cruises online. Why do you think I'm in this business? Hello? With a complete and total focus on the US. Canada's a fabulous place, but for every one Canadian who goes on a cruise, there are 20 Americans who go on a cruise. And it's massively profitable. Moving on. Another thing that I do, and I do with some partners, is Mesh. And Mesh is a labor of love, and we do it because we all want to create futures that people can feel good about here in Canada, okay? We want to have jobs for people here in Canada. We want to have smart people here in Canada. We need to find ways to link the smart people with the money and with the ideas, and to have sort of thoughtful conversation and make those sort of interconnections that ultimately result in successful businesses. I can tell you, I see loads of ideas. I see very few businesses. I have cups of coffee with countless numbers of people. Very few of them are even features, if they are features, let alone being businesses. There is tons of talent here, but there's blockages all over, and there are huge issues around culture and capital. And what we're trying to do with Mesh is to create a forum where people get together to discuss how technology is impacting how we live and work, and frankly become better as a result of that, better for themselves, better for as potential investors, better in investments, and frankly making the country and the city a better place. We've been doing that for 6 years. We run a series of events, and we're growing, and we're really fortunate to sort of have become the thought leaders, if you will, on the impact that the web or the net, I'll say the net, not the web, and for those of you out there who know the distinction, you'll know why, is having on how we live and work. And we owe it to ourselves and to our kids, of which I have 2, to make sure that those jobs of the future are here. And there's a whole host of reasons. I want to do something really quickly, because I don't want to take too much time, but I want to toss something out here. The automotive sector is the backbone of Ontario, right? These numbers are out of date, I know, but directionally, here's some. In 2002, the automotive sector, including parts and assembly, employed 159,200 people in Canada. 90% of that, of the North American nameplates, 90% of that was exported. 83% of the Japanese nameplates was exported. It was a $110 billion industry in Ontario. 97% of the Canadian automotive business is in Ontario, okay? Massive. 160,000 people employed. Here are the top 20 websites visited by Canadians last month. Google, Facebook, YouTube, Yahoo, Windows Live, Wikipedia, MSN, Blogger, Twitter, MSN Canada, Kijiji. Then in number 13, the first Canadian one, the Government of Canada. LinkedIn, Craigslist, Amazon.com, eBay Canada, Bing, Microsoft Corporation, and WordPress.com. Let me give you a tally on how many people work for those in Canada. These are all estimates, but I know these people. Google employs about 50 people in this country. Facebook employs about 10 people in this country. The next one, third, Google again. It's included in that 50-ish. YouTube included in the Google. Yahoo, maybe about 20. Windows Live, that's the sort of MSN suite of stuff, maybe 50. Wikipedia, nobody. MSN included in the Windows Live. Blogger included in the Google. Twitter, nobody. MSN Canada included in the Windows Live. Kijiji, about 10. Government of Canada, LinkedIn.
You're coming to the end of your speech.
I am. LinkedIn about 5, Craigslist 0, Amazon 0, eBay about 3, Bing included in the Microsoft Corporation, probably about 1,000 in Canada, but this is Microsoft.com, they're all in Seattle, and WordPress.com estimates 0. So according to my estimation, the top 20 websites in Canada employ 1,145 people in this country.
Wow.
So there, ladies and gentlemen, is my challenge right there.
Our challenge. Well, thank you very much again. You have here three really unconventional thinkers who are doing a great job of creating jobs here in Toronto. Just on your point, Mike Kadar is here. Mike and I are working on a startup. There's an engineering firm that's been working on a small transmission that's half the size and will produce half the electricity and half the energy output for a car, and we hope to bring that to market shortly. And I should announce today that later this month I'm starting a internet newspaper in Ottawa called the Wellington Street Post. Stay tuned. It's all based on young people in Ottawa, looking at Ottawa from the inside out, and that's coming along as well. So we're all involved in startups here, and now it's back to you folks. Everybody has an opportunity to ask these wonderful people some questions.
Hello, my name is Sam Friedman, and my question is around the question of mesh. How is it that mesh is different than MaRS, conceptually and application-wise?
I think spiritually, a lot of what MaRS is about and what mesh is about are very similar. And we've been very happy to actually host several of the events here at MaRS over the years. The philosophy, I think, is very much the same. What we try to do is to sort of take it beyond these walls and to have it sort of more as an ongoing thing. I think that what we recognized with creating mesh was that there wasn't there wasn't sort of an ongoing forum where people who sort of swim in those digital waters could connect with each other across verticals, if you will. So we have a society stream, we have a marketing stream, we have a business startup and financing stream, and we have a media stream. And there's so much sort of what we try to do is have conversations that happen between those verticals as opposed to within those verticals. And so I think, generally speaking, what MaRS is trying to accomplish and we're trying to accomplish are very similar. I mean, MaRS has other objectives as well that are different than ours, but I mean, it's sort of been a natural home for us over the years, and certainly we're involved. I mean, myself, I also donate my time to a few of the teams here that help advise businesses and stuff like that. So I'm happy. It's a good question. I think there's more similarity than difference.
I think the short answer is the more the merrier.
Right.
If MaRS is spinning off MaRS Junior or Mesh, that's terrific, because I don't think the whole idea of the net is to decentralize, not centralize, and so you use this as a very potent inspiration to create a lot of other small MaRS innovations in different ways, in different places, and in different ways.
Good morning. My name is Mitchell Wolf. Question for Stuart. You mentioned that there are a lot of ideas and concepts out there, but not many businesses. Is this more of a Canadian experience, or this is just sort of the natural selection of great ideas and it's very hard to translate them into actual businesses and business models? In other words, is it different between Canada and the U.S.? Can you shed a little light in terms of where you see the direction of Canadian VCs going?
So as far as the first thing is concerned, in terms of whether it's more a Canadian thing or it's just sort of the natural nature of things, I think it's both. I think it's exacerbated here. I think the fact that we don't have the sort of ecosystem that you have in a place like a Boston, California, Washington State, even Texas, and increasingly even New York City is meaningful. You don't have sort of as big a circle of people that have been successful that then sort of punch out for a while and then come back and do something else, and either are helping to also fund other businesses along the way, or they're coming with a bit of a track record and there's other people who are there in a position to fund them. That is much less present here. I think so I think that's a Canadian problem. Another Canadian challenge that we have is the way that people think. The number of people that come to me that sort of say, if we're really, really successful, people will know us throughout the whole city. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but there are very few companies based in the U.S. or Europe who think about their home market exclusively, let alone their home state or home city. Especially in the technology space, the World Wide Web is that, and I mean, some of it is overblown. But if you write great code once, the trick is to get it in front of as many human beings as possible. That's how you make money. And whether it's a web service, a website, or software, do it great once and replicate. The challenge that I used to have sort of back in Expedia days before Tripharbour was getting anybody in the U.S. to actually even care about Canada because it's so bloody small. So we sort of tend to get skipped over. So we're in a weird situation where Canadians don't think beyond their borders and U.S. companies don't think about Canada. So there's an opportunity. There's absolutely an opportunity for strong businesses, global businesses, to start and be built from Canada, without a doubt. But the stuff that Gord, I think, just totally nailed, frankly, and I was so refreshed to hear him actually say it. Let's not kid ourselves. Banks aren't in this business. They're not in the early stage business. That very early stage stuff is really, really hard. Getting the capital together is really, really, really hard. It's soul-destroying crap going out trying to get money together to get an idea off the ground. But it's completely necessary, and it's true that bad ideas are less likely to get funded, and that's great. But some stuff does need to get funded, and the ideas have to be of a caliber that clearly have potential beyond sort of small scale stuff.
What is the magic point that you would identify that would say we should come and talk to you?
Well, it's actually what I was talking about before, which is the distinction between it being an idea and being an opportunity. And the key metric for an opportunity is sales, money. Someone who wants to not just say nice things about good ideas, but say, yeah, I'll hand you a check. And then secondly, you can deliver and execute on that. So I would say that the find a customer, get married to them, and do what Michael Volpe did when he had a problem at Newbridge. It was our first major customer, and he had a problem, and I remember hearing about it something like 8 at night, and I couldn't get him the next day because he'd driven all night, slept in the parking lot at Newbridge, and woke up in the morning, they knocked on his window, and he went and fixed it. Get a partner, deliver, get paid. Then think about the opportunities, and it's nice to have the benefit of being able to choose. There is no venture capital in Canada today, right? I mean, where's the venture capital industry going? What venture capital industry? There used to be about 5 companies, and there were 250. Now there are probably about 5. So don't count on being able to find a supplier of capital here. But if you can deliver to a customer, you will find support.
My name is Neil Raj. I'm a founder of 2 online advertising networks, one in US and one in Canada. And the question is for Stuart. What did you say to convince them to penetrate a market which is a tenth of the size of the US market?
They had already decided they were going to do something here, and they were looking for somebody to do it. So I didn't have to do that. What I did have to do, because then they hired me, then I literally had to keep my job, give them a plan that showed why we wanted to do it. And so I gave them a plan that was reasonable but still insane.